right, I'm ready. I didn't pay my electricity bill, so
That's the story you stick on.
that's the story I'm sticking with.
Gotcha.
So wait, you'd rather be broke than AKA look bad?
Mm-hmm.
Your priorities are screwed up.
Big time.
Yep.
Didn't pay my bill. All right. Oh, we waiting on Terry.
No, I'm scared. I just told you your priorities were messed up.
No, but how Terry get to go blank faced?
Oh, here, I'm sorry. There it is.
Oh.
You happy? Terry's playing nursemaid today.
Well, let's get into that a little bit. Boom. You ready? Shakalaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the
All right,
world.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another dysfunctional episode of the Worst Ones podcast. The things we do to try to record for you guys, you 500 million. I'm out here getting attacked by bugs. I'm spraying them with wasp and hornet killer because
I was like, wait, what?
and I'm not. It's not even wasp or hornets. They're just
What you
gnats.
got on you?
They're just gnats. They're just bugging the fuck out of me. This is the safe place for us PKs, us preachers' kids, to come talk our shit. We got Kellie Lee in the dark, Terry Wayne in the light,
In the car. He getting
Janessa
some money.
Rowland. Janessa Rowland is
Am I?
in between here and there. She might be here later, might not. She's still pending. Her little loading bar is still circling around. So we'll figure that out. Anyways, Kellie,
Yes,
good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. A little stressed. It's crazy time of year.
Okay.
April, May is busy time, so things are crazy. And I have resorted to eating my stress. I'm a stress eater.
Are you eating healthy?
No, I just didn't I tell you I just had a box of Popeyes, which is why you couldn't hear me.
Mm.
Because the Popeyes the box was, I guess, in front of the microphone.
Gotcha.
So no, I do not eat healthy. But I can't. I've worked so hard to lose this weight.
Right.
And it's so easy to put it back.
I won't go back. Can't go back to the way it used to be.
Right.
Say, Kellie, before this salad
What you-
came and saved me.
Right. You remember them days where I used to have salads on the podcast on Wednesdays?
Now you got Popeye.
Now and lemonade. I don't even drink lemonade and sweet drinks like that. Like that's how I know I'm stressed.
Lord have mercy.
So I'm about to pour some of this glass and I'm gonna pour the rest of it down the sink. But yeah, it's just busy time. But overall, all is well. I'm blessed to see another day.
Gotcha. That's what's up. Terry Weezy, you're not on mute, but we can't hear you.
Right. He's not on mute.
Which
But
is
now
weird.
he's on mute.
Can't hear you. This man turned the camera and thought that was going to change the sound. It's the sound. We see you. It's the sound that's the problem.
He's gone. So
Yeah.
Rudy,
Yeah.
how are you doing today?
I've never went second on this question.
Dysfunctional. Today is
I'll
just
tell you. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see.
okay.
Terry Wayne.
Is that better?
There you go.
All right. I was trying to tell Kellie while she was talking about, because she's always talking weight loss. Have you tried the intermittent fasting?
Mm-mm.
It's
I
been
haven't.
working. It's been working for me because I hated keto. Keto works.
How did keto go?
Keto worked really well, but it's terrible. Like I hate it. After about 2 weeks, you want to claw your own eyes out.
Yeah.
Rather than eat another,
But you eat double cheeseburgers and bacon wrapped butter, right?
Yeah, with no bread.
Right. And coffee with a stick of butter or something crazy.
Coffee. Yeah, coffee with a tablespoon of butter in it.
Something crazy. But you can eat double cheeseburgers and, like I said, with no bun and.
Yeah, it gets old. Like, I don't think you really realize how much you like bread
Yeah.
until you don't get to have it.
Yeah, no, I see that. But I've seen keto do some amazing things pretty quickly.
Mm?
But
Oh no, I told you it definitely works. Like
yeah,
I dropped like 35 pounds in a month. Like it was
have,
crazy.
have you gained any of it back after stopping keto?
All of it. But it took like 2.5 years.
Oh, but then
Mm.
what about when you just did it again?
No, I lost 10 pounds and it still stayed off.
Okay, good.
But I only was on it for like 2.5 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna start again tomorrow.
But the intermittent fasting has been working for me because you can eat anything you want, but only between the hours of 4 and 8.
So you only eat for 4 hours a day.
That's the only time I can. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. It takes some training, and I'm in survival mode. Can't do it. Can't do
That's
it.
survival, bro.
I'm in survival mode. Can't
You
do
got
it.
you got the back now. Oh, shoot.
Right. In May, when I
Amen.
finish, that's what I'll be singing. But today, what are you doing?
We about to eat Terry. Terry out here ordering
Right.
takeout.
Wells Fargo.
Right.
That is what I'm doing.
This
God.
is the most
This
dysfunctional.
nigga was like, let me see, what time do I have today to run errands? Okay, the
Right.
podcast, let me do it.
Well,
I told you what I'm doing. I am caring for a girlfriend who is post surgical.
for a
So
girlfriend or my girlfriend?
my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Uh
How
who
many
had
girlfriends?
had
Somebody
some
else's girlfriend?
had some minor surgery today, so she can't eat anything except for broth, so I'm getting broth.
Oh, aren't you sweetheart?
I am. Yeah, that's true.
No.
He's still running errands.
It's still what?
I say he's still running errands, nonetheless.
No.
She's starving and she can't eat anything till after 8, is what they said. So
Terry, for the last couple weeks has been quite busy during our podcast. He did a whole comedy set last week.
yeah, that's true. I'm a busy guy.
Definitely.
But he shows up. So you gotta respect that. But he's here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not contractually obligated.
You're right.
I mean, you said it. You gave your word. Contract.
But I can't hear you. What are you talking about, Rudy?
What are you gonna do? Send me the electric chair? See, that was
That's
a good.
what you get, Kelly, for being. You know, that's Kelly. That's what you get for being in the dark. Your sound is shitty. Everything you can't hear. That's what you get. You should miss out on the conversation. Because you're over there hiding. Anyway, I'm doing fine, guys. All is well with me. What do I got? I'll be in Tampa next week. At the end of that week, I got a show in Fort Walton Beach. And then the end of May, the last weekend of May, I got a show in Miami.
Well, how did your show go? Was that last week, 2 weeks ago, when you had a hard exit? When was that?
Doing good, very good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. No
Mm-hmm.
comedians. I can say I know some comedians.
You know some. You know some. You know.
Some
And I've been say it again.
So I don't know how good they are, but I do know some.
The fact that you see me and Terry perform and you don't know how good we or bad we are, it speaks volumes to how bad we must be. But
go check them out.
Terry Wayne Comedy, Rudy of All Trades.
Right. But Rudy of All Trades is not on Rudy of All Trades anymore. So
at all.
Go to the podcast official page.
Hey, you feel me?
No, I don't.
Okay, Terry, we still gonna meet you. Got a lot of white noise back there.
We gotta wrap this.
What I was getting ready to say,
30-minute podcast.
Well, I already know, right? What I was getting ready to say, but as far as you, because you say you know some comedians, I was saying that I do want to lean more into because see, the main reason why I don't be on social media is because I feel like I just be posting. You know what I'm saying? Like I just be posting shit. I don't really have no theme, no rhyme, no brand.
It was comedy. You would post your dance videos every week. You would give us the song
Yeah,
lyrics.
I'm,
You would
I'm,
give us.
I'm trying to go like that.
I enjoyed the song lyrics though.
What song lyrics?
When
Oh,
you would give us,
in the stories.
when you would give us a little song of the day, the lyric of the day.
that,
I like those.
that wasn't supposed to be the lyric. It was supposed to be a quote. It just came from
A song. It
a
was a song
bar.
lyric.
You know where I got that from though? I got that from Dave Chappelle because on one of his comedy specials, he had one of Jay-Z lyrics on there, and he had it like the dash and then Jay-Z or
Oh,
it may even say Sean Carter or something, but
uh-huh.
it made it look like it was like this
A quote,
profound
right?
quote that somebody said, but it was actually one of his bars. And so when I seen that, that's what made me start doing that.
I thought it was
So,
cool. I enjoyed looking forward to seeing what the quote of the day, the lyric of the day was. One day you had a B2K one in there. I was like, oh, he don't discriminate. He got him.
you don't discriminate. Yeah, like I said, I just feel like I feel like I don't know, like social media was taking up time that I didn't know if it was like useful or not. Yeah, I know I'm entertaining people that I know who see me when I went to school or whatever. They tell me I'm funny all the time, but it wasn't like, I just don't know. And I already have a love-hate relationship with social media anyway.
Understood.
So it's a full-time job, and I don't know if I'm good at it. Like my page be looking all type of ways. It don't be having no type of beautiness to it.
We know I suck at it, so I
But
feel
see, but you just a regular person on social media. You're not trying to use it to like build a brand.
yeah, I'm a regular
You know what I'm
person.
saying? You're not trying to use it to build a brand. You know what I'm saying? You don't have like a business page, if you will. Like you just
Right.
it's just if you feel like posting, you do. If you feel like scrolling, you do. So I don't know. So that's what it is for me. Anyways, fuck social media. Everybody get off that shit. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Terry, with the stain on the ceiling, you ready to introduce the topic?
Sure.
In the middle of the restaurant.
How would Jesus feel about the death penalty if he was alive today? Or, I mean, he is alive today, but if he was here.
Yeah, how about the Easter just passed? You still trying to have my dog dead on Good Friday? He is risen.
Okay.
All right.
How would he feel about the death penalty today? Having already been executed himself.
So I would assume when he was executed, as you said, it was purposeful. So it was to erase all of our sins. I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess when I think about my personal thoughts about the death penalty, I think sometimes it doesn't match the crime. I think sometimes it punishes innocent people. I think sometimes it discriminates or it, I have a lot of different feelings about the death penalty. So I would like to say that Jesus, and Jesus was pretty nonviolent himself for the most part. So I would like to say that he would feel negatively towards the death penalty. That wouldn't be something that he would agree with. Now, you young men can attempt to change my mind. It's just as an initial thought. But
I don't disagree with it as far as him feeling negatively about it. Because I mean, for me, yes, he was executed, but that's just like saying, just because my parents whooped me, mean I'm gonna whoop my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like you may not agree with whoopings, even though you got them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think just because something happened to you would make you necessarily be for it or agree with. And I'm not saying you were saying that. I'm just saying to concur with what to say
right.
that he wouldn't, I guess be okay with. Because even for me, and I haven't had a conversation with Jesus about this or whatever, so I'm not gonna say this as fact, but in my opinion, I feel like God and Jesus, Holy Spirit, the whole entity, I feel like they kind of feel tried in the first place when, like, a human takes another human's life. You know what I'm saying? Now, once again, I don't know if we ever got to the bottom of if it's okay in war or not. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe God bends the rules in war. I don't know. But in reference to like manslaughter or homicide or even, like I said, the death penalty, like that's still another human deciding that another human should die as a result of whatever crime they committed. And to me, this is just me. I ain't saying the scripture. This is me. I don't know if any human deserves. I don't know if any human. I did it for him. I don't know if any human deserves that type of power over another human to say like, yo, you deserve to die because of anything that you did. Now, if there's a system set up where you can be imprisoned and whatever, rehabilitated or punished, by taking, doing time, whatever, that's one thing. But, because I get having laws set up like, a man sets laws, but it's for man to operate. Because, I mean, us humans, we need rules. Like, we can't just be out here just, willy nilly, no pun intended. But we have to, but once we break those laws, I don't think any human should ever have the power to say that another human deserves death. And so with me feeling like that, I do feel like Jesus may feel the same way once again, because just because he got executed doesn't mean that he's like, well, I did it, so shit, everybody else, that's just what happens. Now, I do think that God set it up where because he had to die for our sins, he set it up to happen within that system of execution, you know what I'm saying, dying on the cross or whatever the case may be, which makes it a part of his will, obviously, you know what I'm saying, but so maybe God is okay with it and Jesus ain't. I don't know, because Jesus is the one that had to go through it. So you feel what I'm saying? Like,
I think it was purposeful. Like
right.
it served this great purpose for all of us to kind of be here today.
For sure.
Versus like you said, someone having the power to say because you allegedly committed this crime, then you deserve to die.
Right. And even to your point, sorry to cut you off, but even to your point about people getting executed and they're innocent, Jesus, same thing happened with Jesus.
Right,
you know
right.
What I'm saying? Like, but the difference is, and I think this is where the question gets tricky, because he had to die and he had to get, like the prophecy was the prophecy was the cross and all these different types of things. Like, I feel like is execution okay? I don't know, but it had to be okay for Jesus because, for one, he had to go through that, but also two, he wasn't going to stay dead. Anybody else who gets executed is going to stay dead.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Unless Jesus raised them from the dead or whatever. But they're not going to get up on their own.
Right.
3 days later, 8 days later, 20 years later, 150
well, not to mention, does thou shalt not kill come into play when it's the state?
And so, and I have a question about that too. And this may be, as a preacher's kid, it may be a question that I should already know the answer to.
Probably.
But I'm asking anyway, because I can Google it, but I'm just going to ask you to.
Okay.
What is the penalty? What are the consequences for breaking one of the 10 commandments?
Well, I mean, it's a sin.
Right.
But
it's hell if you're not saved, basically.
Well,
if I'm saved and I kill somebody, I can.
If you kill, yeah.
Well, the difference again, it comes between, like we always say, between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Old Testament God was not. Yep. Well, Old Testament God was not a very forgiving God. That's kind of the difference. He was wrathful, he was vengeful, he was jealous a lot as well. But that's what the crucifixion did. Was the crucifixion changed things? Now man could be saved. Man could be given forgiveness. He could be forgiven for his sins. So
you could be forgiven, but it was because they used to have to do like sacrificial like animals like with the lambs and stuff like that, and that was like a once a year thing. But to be able to have access to get to God as far as like making it into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the crucifixion broke that particular barrier, because there's ways to get forgiven. We didn't have that access to the Father because we had to go through Him.
The answer to the question, or at least to her question, which is what's the exact punishment for breaking one of the 10 commandments? The answer is different. In the Old Testament, it meant you were going to hell. In the New Testament, it meant you needed to ask forgiveness.
But I'm saying the New Testament still means you're going to hell if you don't ask for forgiveness. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But that's what she asked what would the punishment be for it? Yeah.
But that's what I agree with you. I'm just saying, but I feel like the answer is all the way around, unless, to your point, in the Old Testament there was no option for forgiveness, but
there wasn't.
In today's time, the option would be you would have to be, saved.
Yeah.
Like, but other than that, breaking a 10 commandment, a non-10 commandment, anything that's considered a sin, the punishment would be like on Judgment Day, answering for it. Kellie, can you lean back forward, or you've disappeared on us?
I'm here.
I know, but can you?
Oh,
we already can't see Terry. Can we at least get two people?
Terry, look, he's handsome.
There you go.
But Terry can't drive with his light on forever.
Terry's a pro.
Wow, I'm saying like legally.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Like legal. But yeah, so that, like I said, I excuse me, Kellie, to your point about because Jesus died purposely, maybe if there's a purpose behind it, maybe execution style dying is okay. I don't know. I mean, Jesus stopped a lady from getting stoned. You know what I'm saying? She was about to get killed execution style. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people technically get executed, I guess, in a sense.
Well, that was a form of their execution. So I guess I guess that's our answer right there, because I totally forgot about that story until you just mentioned it. But that was their execution, and he literally stopped one and then chastised the people that were trying to do it.
Right, because of I don't know if it's necessarily that execution is wrong or who it's done by. Because once again, how can me, even if you've done something considered more wrong than me, I've still done wrong. So how can I then say you deserve to die? You feel what I'm saying? If I'm not perfect myself, which is why Jesus stopped.
Well, let's take somebody like let's go big and say, let's say it's somebody who like a pedophile who also kills children, right? Now, if you ask people in this country today, should that person be executed, you're going to get a large percentage. Huh?
No, I just said they're going to say yes.
Yeah, you're going to get a large percentage. Yeah. But I mean, like, probably 80-85% of the people would say yes in that situation. But when you actually look at the numbers of it, yourself, the question are our own sense of justice, our own gratification, you know?
No, we don't know because we didn't
hear nothing.
We heard.
Oh, well, that's great.
We heard, no. Nope, we don't.
You sound like a
I was actually, I was making a really good point, but
it sounded like it. We just couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Try it again.
Well, I was saying that, you know, the fact that it costs almost double what it costs almost double to execute a prisoner as it does to imprison them for life kind of tells you something about the mentality behind it these days. It's more just about revenge. It's more just about our own sense of, you know, feeling safe. It's not really about justice anymore, you know?
And I guess, I mean, I know we're talking about how Jesus feels, but thinking about my own feelings surrounding it, in terms of revenge versus justice, you know, because when do people typically get the death penalty? When they've committed a crime, like you said, child molestation, and they've murdered children. Like, what are the typical death penalty charges?
What's that?
I said, what are typical death penalty charges?
Probably usually some type of murder. Probably, especially if you probably like kill a police officer or probably killed or raped a bunch of kids or
Right. So
like a serial killer or.
So let's say, there's
black.
Someone killed and raped your child, my child.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like they deserve to die?
Well, it's a funny thing that you asked me that question because I just watched an old interview today of an old presidential candidate named Mike Dukakis back in '88, and he was asked the very same question. He said, "If your wife was raped and murdered, do you think?" And his answer is pretty much mine. Just because it happened to me doesn't mean my feelings change on it.
You still feel
I feel like it would be revenge more than justice, especially if it happened to somebody close to me. There's a reason why they won't let you perform surgery on someone you know. There's a reason why you can't be in the jury if you know the defendant. You know what I mean? You're too emotionally involved in it. And that's not what justice is. That's what revenge is.
So is it a difference? Okay, so to your example, someone has raped and killed your wife. Is there a difference between you killing the person that raped and killed your wife and the court saying that this person must die?
I don't think so. It all comes down.
Well,
God,
sorry. Yeah. No, I think it all comes down to you. I think you know what's in your heart. I think God knows what's in your heart. So you can't really hide from that. You know what I mean? So if you go out and kill that person, as great as that fantasy is, and I'm not going to deny anybody that, if somebody were to, harm somebody I loved, I'd want to, exact revenge too, but that's exactly why I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because not doing it for any good reason. It doesn't bring them back. It doesn't make anything better.
They're dead. You
right.
don't get to continue to breathe, eat, sleep, communicate with other people. Even in jail, you can still get visitors. You can still talk to your loved ones. You create social relationships with your bunk mate, jail cell suite person.
Okay. Well,
what do they have in jail? Not a sweet mate. Cellmate. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. I said a sweet mate. That's it. Your cellmate. You still get to do, you lose a lot of your freedom, but you still get to do some normal, everyday things.
Right.
Versus when you're dead.
Right. So for you, it's about.
But what if he dead and he was saved and he get to go to heaven?
Well, that's the thing is.
Now you really fucked up.
Well, listen to this. Listen to this. So what Kellie is saying is it's more about punishment.
Right.
I think as Kellie's point is that it's more about punishment. Okay, I'm gonna wait till she's done.
Like Rudy is out, but you gotta think.
You gotta think. You might be letting him off the hook by killing.
Right.
Only way that's the worst of punishment is if he go to hell. But
some
he
people
is covered in the blood and that nigga fuck around go to heaven.
Right.
Some people would make the argument that
let this nigga in jail.
That's a nice thought.
Some people might make the argument that life without parole is worse than death. But again,
right?
If it's about punishment, right? Then why do we do lethal injection, which is probably the most humane, easy way to die ever? You, me, her, none of us will probably get that die in your sleep moment.
Right.
So why is it that we do it like that? Why do we do it humanely like that? if it's about punishment. Why wouldn't it be like death by bees or something like that? You know, what?
Or
If it's about punishment, why?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, like I said, I feel like they feel like the death is the punishment, which is why they stopped the suffering part of the death and frying people with the electric chair. They just was like, yo, let's just lethal inject because we feel like killing them, shortening their life is a punishment. Like you could have lived a long life and whatever, but nah, we're gonna end that for you. You feel what I'm saying? Like they feel like, and now back when Jesus and them, like they, like I said, stoning, nail him to the cross. Like even the other dudes that was on the cross, they may not have got whooped as bad, but they still got nailed to a fucking cross, and they died. You know what I'm saying? They died. We don't talk about that part of the story. They died. Okay, on the cross. You feel me? And that's what a lot of people don't realize. That's why it's the whole power about him getting up, because there were other people who died on a cross. You feel what I'm saying? Like
there were two famously right next to him.
It's not just I'm saying, but even outside of those three, like there were other people who got
the
same way. So it's not just about him dying on a cross. That just is fulfilling the prophecy that was part of this, what was supposed to happen. But
it was his execution in general.
Right, but in reference to the execution itself, and is it okay? Did God think it was okay? Did Jesus think it was okay? Once again, maybe there's a thing because they were separate and they had this conversation about if it's your will, I'll still do it, yada yada yada. Maybe Jesus wasn't okay with it and God was. You know what I'm saying? Because I always go back to this. God, you created this world. You feel what I'm saying? Like you created everything to be how it is, whether it was for man to have the mind to be able to create it, or you naturally put it here. Either way, you set up this system. That if execution is in the system that you created, then whether you're okay with it or not, you still allowed it to be here, which means it makes it kind of shaky to be mad at a human for, and I'm not talking about murdering somebody. I'm saying through the legal system of executing somebody, especially as far as if they're actually guilty. I'm not talking about executing somebody who's innocent. Then that's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody's actually guilty and you say, I think you deserve to die for this, then once again, whether it's right or wrong, whether God hates it or loves it, he created a system to allow it to be a thing. Could have created a system where it never even existed, where it could never exist. Like we don't even know anything about an execution style, but he didn't.
Well, I don't know about that, like, because you're talking about God removing the evil from the hearts of men, and then
no. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about him removing anything from what's current. I'm saying in the creation. I always talk about the creation. In the creation, he could have created a system where there wasn't any evil, or where there wasn't any execution, where there was.
He did. That's what he did. And then some broad had to eat an apple, and we all got screwed.
But what I'm saying is, but he also didn't have to put the apple there. You feel what I'm saying? But he did.
But then there's no free will if he didn't.
I'm not arguing that, Terry. That's not the point. The point that I'm making is that there's accountability when it comes down to all these things that we ask, is Jesus and God okay with or not? Because God is the one who created a system for these things that we as humans look at as not okay. He created a system where that can exist. Because he has the power to have done it another way, but he didn't. So for whatever reason, he wants us to live in a world where it exists. And not saying that we have done it correctly or whatever, but no, it's still a thing that he's still responsible for, in my opinion.
It doesn't exist in the world; it exists in us. We're the ones doing it.
He created us, so it doesn't matter. That's my whole point.
Well, but that's what free will is, man. He can't take away that evil.
You're arguing something that we're not even talking about. I'm saying I'm not saying that he should strip free will or not. That has nothing to do with free will. I'm saying that when he created this world, he could have created it a different way than what it currently is right now, but he didn't. So when we are arguing, or not arguing, but discussing about whether God feels a certain way about something we deem as evil,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he feels about it because he's the one who's responsible for it being here in the first place.
No,
That's
we
what I'm
are.
saying. He
That's
created
what
us,
I'm saying.
but he created us. We didn't.
And he gave us a choice.
But I'm saying, but we didn't create ourselves. We didn't create evil. We
I
didn't
agree.
create good. We didn't create any of these things. We are operating in a system, in a body, in function, whatever that he created.
I'm not going to sit here and listen to somebody say that God created evil. That's ridiculous. We are the evil. We create the evil.
But I said anything that he naturally put here, or even that he put in, and we put out. Evil man didn't create it. So where did it come from? We didn't create evil on our own.
Actually, we did. Evil came from the hearts of men. Yes, we did. Or you can blame Satan if you'd like. But all Satan does is whisper. We're the ones that make the decisions.
I'm not Terry, you're going way off book. You're going
okay.
Way.
No, man, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're saying that God created evil.
I'm saying that God created everything. Us, He created the system that we operate in. He created the earth. So everything that happens everything that happens is a result of what was created, because everything that's here didn't create itself.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, I know that's wrong. Hey, let me ask you this. If you put a bunch of ants inside of an ant colony and you feed them, are you in control on how many babies they have? Are you in control of which ants kill the other ants? Are you in control of which ants work more than the others? No, you just created the world. You're not governing the actions.
But there's a difference if I also created the ant. Like if I created the ant and how the ant functions,
yeah,
then that's a whole nother responsibility that I take, because it's not just me taking something that I didn't create and put it inside of a world. I created it and the world that I put it inside of.
Right.
That's two
okay.
things.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say you create some ants. We can do that. You know, we can breed ants. We can breed humans, for God's sake. Like, we can do that. If you do that, then are you then responsible?
But I'm not.
Basically, you're saying the same way you're saying this is if, like, a kid goes into a high school and shoots up the place, you should arrest the parents because they made the kid. So it's obviously on them that they brought the evil into the world.
No,
man, like this is some real Salem witch trial stuff you're saying.
The parent breeded the child. They didn't create the child, because the child, humans in general, are
First
created.
of all, it's bred, not breeded.
Even if it was bred, the point is they birthed the child. But they did not create a human being. The human species. They didn't create how humans function. They didn't create how teeth grow in the human mouth. How hair.
Boy, you just pissed off every mom that listens to this.
Well, it's only my.
Tell me, I didn't create my baby. I created my baby. Come on.
It's only my mom, so we're safe.
But I guess and I think you both understand what the other person is saying. You just disagree.
I do. I just think he's wrong. 100%.
But I guess it goes back to the same conversations that we've had over and over and over again. But I think that, Rudy, you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, that Jesus, God, Holy Spirit holds some responsibility for the way
the evils of men
in the world, because he has created all of the world.
Right. Well, think about this. You're also saying that God himself is partly responsible for every atrocity, from the Holocaust to the genocides to everything. All human suffering is partly God's fault.
What I'm saying is that God could have.
Oh, we know what you're saying.
Could have easily chosen to create a world that is not like what we know it to be today.
He did. It was called the Garden of Eden.
And
we screwed it up.
The fact that we live in this world today is a result of, because even with we're sitting here saying that, okay, God didn't create evil, but before like the earth was even created, like Jesus was going to come and die on the cross. Like that didn't come later once people started sinning and shit. And they like, yo, man, we need a savior. And then boom, God realized it. Like it was something that was already going to happen. And it had to happen the way that it did. Why? Why did Jesus have to die in such a gruesome death?
I disagree with that. From the
be
very
innocent.
You're basically saying that all of human history has been written since before human history existed.
Stop trying to say what I'm basically saying. Listen to what I'm actually saying. Okay.
Okay. I am listening. You said before humans.
Listen.
Jesus had to die. That's what you said.
So when Jesus came and he died the way that he did, why did he have to die such a gruesome death? Why did he have to die?
Because that's how they were then. That's how they executed
people. But I'm
people.
saying, but it was also a part of God's plan. He didn't just die that way just on happenstance. It had to happen that way. He sent Judas away to go get the people to come get him. He told Peter, you're going to deny me. Like all these things were things that were already going to happen.
Yeah, but you're saying that for some reason God said Jesus had to die on a cross when
he that was just and had a conversation. If this cup should pass me, please let it. But if not, let your will be done. He didn't want to have to die the way that he was going to have to die. He wouldn't have had that conversation if he didn't know that he was going to be a gruesome death.
Of course he did. Every execution back then was gruesome.
Okay, so what I'm saying is,
if he was to do that today, it'd be lethally injected.
Why would God send His only begotten Son to go through something so terrible?
What does this have to do with the topic?
How does he about the death penalty? He sent him down. He sent him down here, to your point earlier, to experience the death penalty. So what I'm saying is that if he didn't want him to experience the death penalty could have just not existed. Like getting murdered like that could have not existed, but it does. And he sent his son down here to experience that so that we could be saved.
So you're saying that God created the death penalty? We did that, not God.
Terry.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying that I always put some type of responsibility on where the root of where the creation comes from.
God, just say the word. I've said it 1,000 times. Some of the blame on God.
I've said it 1,000 times. But I'm trying to say it different time I say it than you dispute it. I'm saying it 1,000,000 times. Like, yes, I put the blame on God. Not even blame, but I put responsibility on God when it comes down to good or bad. Because once again, you created the world to be like this. And I'm not saying that he even looks at what we look at as bad. He may think it's a good thing for whatever reason. Maybe he looks at it as a bad thing for whatever reason. I don't know. But you are the creator. If you created everything, if you know every hair that's on my head, if you know who I was going to be before I was in my mother's womb, if you know all of these things, then you also know what I'm going to experience in my life.
You mean what you're going to do?
I'm saying what I'm going to experience in my life in general, whether I see something, whether I do something, whether somebody does something to me, regardless. Like, you already know that it's part of my story. Like, it's still the same thing.
Right, which eliminates free will, which is impossible. So,
the same conversation we've had.
I know. It's like he doesn't get it. You have to have free will, or the Bible is pointless. None of it is real if free will doesn't exist.
But the fact that you're still combating that point shows me that you don't get.
What don't I get?
No, because you. I've never tried.
I just don't have the will for this argument again.
Okay, I don't care.
You have to be able to choose good or evil.
I understand that, but who set up that system? Humans or God?
Well, technically, that would be Beelzebub when he fled heaven. And not only that's why he was already in hell when the Garden of Eden existed, which is why he came in the form of a snake and tempted Eve to take the fruit of the apple. She had a choice. She made that choice.
Who created the choice is my question.
The choice was naturally created when Satan left heaven. He used to be an angel, remember? He's a fallen angel. He left heaven. Now there was a choice. Before that, there was no choice. And there was no people either to make choices.
But how was there not a choice? He said, "Don't eat from."
There was a choice. There was a choice whether Satan left heaven or not.
But I'm saying there was a choice in the garden before she even talked to Satan. Don't eat from this tree, and they had a choice to do it or not do it. And he was the influence of why it happened, but they still had a choice before he ever presented it.
Right, and they have to have a choice because that's what free will is. If you don't have a choice to make, there is no free will.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Now this is what I'm saying. But who created the choice?
I got it. I heard you.
Okay.
I know. I'm saying yes, God created that choice.
Okay. Now, that's all I need to say. Now, the fact that God created the choice means that means that he's the creator. He could have easily created where there wasn't a situation where they could have chosen something that would put us in a place where we will sin and then need Jesus to die on the cross.
Yeah, there's a word for it, utopia.
But he didn't set it like that. He set it up where they made the choice, and then everything that has transpired from there has happened.
Right.
Okay.
You're right.
All I'm saying is, with that being said, that puts some level of responsibility on God because he
created a choice that we made. Got it. I got it. He creates the choice, but we still make it at the end of the day.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But if there was no bad choice to make, because he created it a different way, then we wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. But we are, because there were bad choices to make, and there still are. But that's because that's how he set it up. Which I'm not saying that God is an evil person, or
I know you.
I'm just saying that there is some level of responsibility there.
Yeah, I know. But you're just so remarkably wrong about all this. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like, your thought process is wrong.
You literally just agreed with me, and now you're telling me
I agreed with you to get you to stop. Like, yes, God created the choice, but we still make it. That's free will. You get what I'm saying?
I've never disputed that, Terry. I'm not saying that that's not free will. I'm not saying that at all.
Right. But again, that's Old Testament, not New Testament. And as we've discussed many times before, the rules are different.
Right. Once again, none of that is a part of my argument at all.
So, to answer the question, how would Jesus feel about the death penalty? I think he'd be against it, citing specifically the story about the woman getting stoned. And that's where we get, "He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone," one of the most famous quotes in all the Bible. And as soon as you mentioned that, I remembered it. And I was like, that's the only argument you need to make for this. He literally stopped a woman from getting executed and then chastised the people that were doing it. So, is it a sin? Yeah, I think it's a sin that's kind of on everybody who votes in favor of the death penalty, shares a little bit of the responsibility. But again, God knows your heart, so take your chances and just ask forgiveness every time they execute an innocent person, which they'll be doing a week from today in Texas. That's what made me think about this.
Like Kelly, because I think you kind of said something about this earlier to some degree. Maybe you did. I feel like it was something that you said that made me think of this, but how do we even decide like who we are? Like I'm not the type of person who would murder or rape anybody, let alone be somebody's wife or whatever like that. So I don't know if I would ever feel the pressure of somebody wanting to kill me because I did that to their spouse or child or whatever. But I'm also just not like that. You know what I'm saying? Because of who I am, because maybe how I was raised, the household I was raised in, whatever. But there are people like that. Mm-hmm. The question is, did they choose to be like that? Did they grow up in a fucked up situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying one way or the other. But like, you know, like, so even the people who are committing these executions, like maybe they feel like it's right for whatever reason. And I'm not talking about Jesus, I'm talking about humans. Like maybe they feel like it's right for whatever reason. Maybe this system was set up because there was somebody out here raping and killing babies left and right up in town. They was like, man, fuck jail. We need to execute this. And then it just went haywire and they just started saying, well, you know, we don't like this person, so let's act like they did something wrong and then execute them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always kind of ways to pervert things, I guess, if you will. But
well, I mean, we go pretty far with it. Like we execute the mentally challenged.
Right, but I'm saying, but is it okay if we feel like it's justified? If it is somebody who committed such a horrendous crime, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's how humans feel, because we just said, like, if it was our spouse or our child, that's what you asked, Kel. That's what made me think about it. Like, if it was our spouse, our child, like, how would we react? Would we even want to do the killing ourselves? You feel what I'm saying? And even if you went to jail, like, you and everybody you know and everybody who know about the story will probably feel like you justified. They'll be screaming free Rudy or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, he deserved to be able to kill that person who did X, Y, Z. Like, people would feel that way, but I don't know if God feel the same way. But humans definitely.
Yeah, people feel that way, but in the
based on the crime, for sure.
Right, but again, this comes down to what's right and what's wrong, what's a sin and what isn't. Right. And if you kill somebody, you can justify it all you want to, but you still need to ask forgiveness because it's still a sin.
Yeah. What about in war?
Just because we're not going back to that. We did a whole episode on that. Look it up. No, but if you kill somebody, even if it's done through the state, it's like the same thing as saying, well, I didn't kill anybody. I just hired somebody to kill my ex-wife. See, I didn't kill her. I just hired somebody to do it. That's the same thing you're doing with state-sponsored executions. You're just getting somebody else to do your dirty work for you.
But I don't know, because I don't think the people make that decision.
They do when they're elected officials, yes.
Right. Right. But I wouldn't make the decision that my spouse's murderer gets the death penalty.
Some people do. They usually ask for a victim's recommendation.
Okay.
Like the family of somebody that gets murdered can make a recommendation whether to execute or not execute, and usually judges will abide, depending on the issue. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but more times they'll go with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
but it doesn't change anything, because again, he who's without sin. And if we're doing that game, then the judge himself might as well get in the chair. You know?
But see, that even poses a question, even just without even death, what about even just punishment in general? Like, I'm sure every judge has committed a sin, you know what I'm saying? But they got to throw motherfuckers in jail based off of what they did wrong.
Well, yeah, you do have to have that kind of thing, but punishment is not the same as the death penalty. And the death penalty is not the same as punishment. In fact, if you gave me the option, and I'm not saying that you should because I don't deserve it, but if you gave me the option between life in prison or death, I'd probably take death. You want to spend the rest of your life, in a cell 23 hours a day?
Or do you want to go to heaven?
That's what I'm
What does that matter?
What does that matter?
That definitely matters.
Right.
Why?
Because if I die,
I want to go to heaven.
Without going, if I die in general, I want to go to heaven. But if I die over going to jail for life, and I end up going to heaven because I was saved,
yeah,
that's jackpot.
Right.
Yeah, you still get to go to heaven.
Streets paved with gold and
everlasting
life, and
exactly. So what's the real punishment here? Like I said, you don't even kill him brutally anymore. So what's the real punishment? We're just doing it. A, we do it for political reasons. B, we do it because it just makes us feel a little safer. And C, the biggest thing is for revenge. When they executed Ted Bundy, I remember this when I was a kid. When they executed Ted Bundy, there were literally people who came and tailgated at the prison so they could cheer it on. And they were literally drinking beers and having barbecue and had signs out, kill him twice, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's evil in a different way. That's evil hiding behind justice.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's all. So that's why I kept saying, like, God knows your heart, and so do you. So you know what you're doing. You can lie to everybody else, but can't lie to him. You can't lie to yourself.
So it sounds like in the end, the answer to the question. We're all in agreement that Jesus does not agree with
Well,
the
yeah,
devil.
I think that was in the beginning. I think we all agreed at the beginning.
And we are not in agreement that God created evil. I just want to put that on record. I'm sorry to all the religious people listening. God did not create evil.
That'll be a podcast for another day.
Rudy does not speak for this assembled group, nor does he represent the ideas and notions of our sponsors or our 500 million followers.
I kind of actually do, because
No,
the 500 million are my family.
No, they're not. We have more than your family. Now, while we appreciate your family and their consistency in listening.
Oh, we do.
So you trying to tell me? Okay, that I'll tell them
announcements.
I'll tell them to stop listening, and I shut all our listeners down.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh no! Don't do that.
I don't think they listen at this point because of you. I think they listen because they truly enjoy the content.
Yeah, don't
my friends
don't threaten me with
if I tell them to stop fucking with y'all, they're gonna stop fucking with y'all. That's how we roll.
Maybe.
Oh no! I get my Wednesdays back again. Oh no! Whatever would I do if you kicked me off?
I didn't say anything about kicking you off. You're gonna still be here. You're just not gonna get the viewers.
Then I'm not. If nobody's watching, I ain't doing it.
People are watching. 500 million people. And speaking of those 500 million people, you can find us on social media at The Worst Ones.
Let's just go straight to YouTube, because you ain't doing that.
You can find us on social media at The Worst Ones. I thought we was closing on a good note.
No, Rudy's really earning the name this week. You know.
I thought we were closing on a good note.
He's definitely the worst one.
Right. At The Worst Ones PK on Instagram. In terms of watching us, and participating and seeing us on the podcast, YouTube is where you can see our beautiful faces. Today, you just kind of see a silhouette of mine, but hey, I'm here.
Y'all see my beautiful face.
We saw Terry's.
Kellie,
the roof of Terry, that wet spot.
Hey man, that was the Chinese restaurant. What am I gonna do?
But if you want to just listen and not see our handsome and beautiful faces,
Terry, can you stop? What are you doing?
What?
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Type in The Worst Ones Podcast. Make sure once you get there, you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. As I've already stated, thank you to our 500,100,005 followers. We appreciate you. We love you. To follow me personally, my page is private, but it's at Princess Kells 51.
Go ahead and shout out your girl.
Janessa did not show up today.
So she does not get a plug.
Which I figured
I keep telling you, we plug you when you're not here.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
We most definitely.
You're a fucking member of the podcast. Why wouldn't we plug you? What are you talking about?
We even plug your shows when we remember them.
Yeah, like Kellie did your whole run in New York. And shit.
I did.
You gotta show up to get noticed. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm totally about you not doing that while I'm not here.
No, we most definitely will. We are a family.
Right. Like, what's this man talking about?
So, Janessa at Melanated Brews is her professional page, her fun page, where you can find everything coffee, beer, and
her
tea.
Page. We have fun over there.
Yes, we have fun. Yeah, it was like, what is it? Professional page, fun page. They have fun over there. She typically likes Dunkin', and I don't know if she posts all the time, but when she goes and looks at some interesting places, you can find it on that Melanated Brews. She'll probably never watch this. Personal page is at JRihanna __. That's JRIANA__.
Melanated Brews has 1% more posting rate than the worst one.
If we don't get this high to the podcast, so you gonna sit down somewhere. At Terry Wayne Comedy on all social media platforms.
At Terry Wayne, feeling pretty unappreciated today with all these threats. And then Kellie told us before we started that her power went out because she didn't pay her bill, and that's why she's in the dark. So I thought I'd put her on Front Street about that because she didn't mention it. So if she's got a Patreon, maybe we can start like a GoFundMe for Kellie to get her lights back on. I think that'd be a good idea.
I think maybe we should just get her to tell the truth. and that would get her lights back on.
I know, but that wouldn't get her any more money. So I say we go for the money.
Georgia Power, if you would like to sponsor us.
All right. Well, add Terry Wayne Comedy. Add the podcast official page. You know what it is. Last Monday of every month. Fuck with us. Don't fuck with us. We out you.
Ooh, thank
all
you.
Right.
You can give all them numbers today.
815.
Oh, Lord.
0955.
Somebody really remembers and writes those down.
I know. Put your two up.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. 815. No, I'm just kidding.
What is happening?
Thank you. Oh, God.
No, appreciate y'all. We out. There.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.